We knew he was one of the baddest martial artists out of here. By the time 1968 had come, Count Dante had defined martial arts in the Midwest.
He was one of the few people that I ever seen break a common house brick with his hands as well as his foot.
John Keehan's comic book dad was a curiosity more than anything.
Couldn't help but like him because of his charisma, his personality, his straightforwardness, you know, but he would cut your throat.
People get the wrong impression about the film itself. They think the film was just about this guy, Count Dante, who was, you know, who was a 1970s era kind of, you know, hairdresser, gangster, pimp, you know, voodoo master kind of, you know what I mean? And that's all true. I mean, it's all true. But what's more important to me about telling stories like this is the history that surrounds it, is the social milieu that it grows out of. I knew it was going to take me at least 2 years because I didn't have any money. I wasn't going to get any money because the subject is so obscure. When I started, I didn't know what the story really was. He's everything in this period. He was radical. He was supposed to have taught Blackstone Rangers and Black Panthers, armed the IRA, you know, armed Castro in Cuba.
This myth that you hear about John, he could fight 10 guys with one hand. He was part of the mafia. He killed this guy. He was a hairstylist, the cape, the cane, the hair, and he did this and he did that. He was a Superman. John had so many, you know, things that people said about him and talked about him, but John was quite a personality. He was a person that you either loved or you hated.
When I went back and looked at the story of John Keehan, it was about sorting out the truth from the fiction. If I had never met him when I was 11 years old, I don't think I'd be doing this thing. You know what I mean? Because I would only know him from the Dojo War and the World's Deadliest Fighting Secrets. In 1960, when he opens the doors to his schools and he welcomes everybody, if you wanted to learn martial arts and you were black, it was very difficult in Chicago. You couldn't just walk into a dojo and join.
I opened my school up in '72. The police had a very negative effect, negative attitude about martial arts people. They gave me holy hell trying to open up the school because they really didn't want young kids, especially young black kids, learning how to fight and how to disarm a person, how to use self-defense, because it was looked at it more negative than positive.
John Keehan welcomed black students, Hawaiians, you know, Lithuanians. You know what I mean? When you look at a picture of his school during that period, it's like the United Nations. This isn't what martial arts schools look like. There's nothing strange about different schools challenging one another. I mean, it always happens. There's nothing strange about martial artists going out into a park or going to schools and challenging one another. And
they were in this here thing with this Black Dragon Society, and they got into this fight.
When the fight broke out, everybody was running. When the blood started flowing, everybody was running.
I've heard a lot of people tell me a lot of stories about it, but when I first read it, I couldn't believe it, although it was right there in the paper.
On April 24th, 1970, John Keehan and several acquaintances came here to the Green Dragon Society's Black Cobra Fighting Hall. He came here in order to either accept a challenge or to start a challenge. Within a couple of minutes of going in, a fight had broken out. Jim Koncevic had been stabbed in the neck on the way out in the jugular vein and bled to death.
Jim lost his life. One of the guys lost an eye, and it was a mess. You say, well, is this what martial arts is all about? I think it did a great disservice to the martial arts at the time. That was the negative side of John.
This is something that John Keehan never recovered from. It was the end of Jim Koncevic and the beginning of the end of John Keehan's life as well. So many people who know him are still in awe of him. You know what I mean? It's just like he is this like iconoclastic character. He's somebody you know, but you really don't know. Before I saw a notice that he had died of bleeding ulcers, I saw a notice that he had died in Mexico in a death match. There John goes again, spreading rumors about himself. Then I found that he was really dead. When I went and found this grave, I said, well, there's no stone on the grave. He says, there wasn't ever one put on it. And there's a reason for graveyards, you know? It's for memory. For better or for worse, he had an impact.
John has a lot of grandkids out here, and I happen to be one of them, and you know, although he's white, I'm black, but he's still part of the family. I think Floyd is doing us all a great service. It will aid us, especially us here in the Midwest area, to know a little bit about our history and where we all came from. And all of us came from John.